everyone, it's Jen. I have 5 cards for you today featuring the Not2Shabby Shop October kit of the month, which is called Let's Deck the Halls. Now, at the time of doing the voiceover, only the pattern paper pads are left for individual purchase, so I did focus on these for my cards today. There is a link down below to the subscription, which you would be signing up for the November kit, which means you won't miss on the chance that it might sell out if you subscribe now. I also have individual links to the pattern papers. So jumping into card number 1, I am using a card sketch from MFT it's number 375. I am going to follow this fairly closely, but instead of adding circles, I'm going to add snowflake die cuts. So I am using a scalloped rectangle here. I cut it out of the diagonal green striped pattern paper. I really liked the boldness of that green mixed with the kind of the softness of this really petite dot paper, which is white with little pink polka dots on it. And then I colored up this sweet little gnome from one of the stamp sets. You do get 3 stamp sets in the kit. And then I stamped the word believe on the mug. So I'm just gonna add my stamp block on that to let it adhere nice and firmly while I add some glue to my snowflake. So this is a Honeybee Stamps snowflake die, which I love. There's tons of different dies in this set, and I will show you that on one of the other cards, just what that die set looks like. I cut that out of some Lawn Fawn silver glitter paper, and I really love how that just filled out the card there. This sketch is really fun, especially if you have a very narrow long image like this little gnome in the mug. So here's a look at the card compared to the sketch, and I did kind of mix up where I put my snowflakes just to where I think it balanced out the card. I ended up deciding to add a little bit of white gel pen detail there to the little gnome's nose and his hat, and I think that looks really cute. So for card number 2, I'm using MFT sketch number 76. I thought this would work well because I wanted to have the Santa mug here. I did color up that mug with my Copic markers, but I paper pieced the mug itself using that petite kind of polka dot paper that I used in the first card. So for the largest rectangle, I used some of the red pattern paper. It almost looks like watercolor. It's really pretty. And then using a piece of the green diagonal stripe pattern paper again for the smaller rectangle. And in the sketch, this rectangle piece is kind of more towards the right-hand side. I did change it up a little bit, and the focal point I decided to use an oval, so that's a stitched oval from Heffy Doodle. And I used the blue pattern paper with the white polka dots, and I just thought this gave a nice focal point for my little mug. I stamped in the sentiment "'Tis the Season" on the mug instead of having a sentiment somewhere else on the card. And then these little gingerbread from the Gingerbread Kisses stamp set are so sweet. I had so much fun coloring them up. So I'm going to add that beside my mug there. And then I used a Lawn Fawn scallop border die with red glitter paper for the bottom. I just love the brightness and the fun that that glitter paper brings. So to finish up this card, I'm going to add some more white gel details. I decided to do 3 areas with 3 little dots each, just to give my little Gingy some added texture. And there's the card in comparison to the sketch. So card number 3, I just had to use more of these sweet little gingerbread, and there's multiple papers in the paper pad that have sweet little gingerbread all over it. So you can see this one here has more of a white background with the little icons on it. So I decided to add this to some of that red pattern paper again, just to have a little bit of a red border. It's not really a true red, it's actually really pretty. It's like a rose, like a deep kind of rose color. I really loved the color of it. So then I'm going to add this little long rectangle here, and I'm using that rose color or red colored pattern paper to back up that blue and white polka dot paper. Following this sketch almost exactly, I did cut the blue and white polka dot paper a little bit longer than it says on the sketch. And I also increased the height of my little white panel, which the gingerbread will sit on, just so that those images fit nicely in that rectangle. So using a little bit of this green for my horizontal stripe that goes across the card. And I am just going to line up this white panel. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cardstock here to the upper right-hand corner, just because there's a lot of height there from those two layers of the pattern paper. And I just wanted it to be nice and even. So this is a trick I learned from my friend Christy Marcotte. And it's something really little that you can do, but it creates such a difference in your card. So if you've never tried that, you might want to give it a try. It just makes everything nice and level. So there's no, as Christy says, dips in your different elements on your cards. So for this card, I'm using 3 of the different gingerbread. There's the sweet little one with the hat, and then one holding a lollipop, and then one with a Santa hat. I'm going to have the gingerbread to the right and left a little higher than my little Gingy in the middle, because I want to stamp the sentiment Merry Christmas on the top of his head, sort of, so that you can see it nicely on that white piece of cardstock. So I'm going to bring out my mini Misty, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that sentiment. I am using my Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. This is my favorite ink for stamping sentiments, and I'll stamp that a couple times just to get a really nice crisp black image there for my sentiment. And this, I think, would have looked really cute as well if you chose a colored ink. So there is this little bow in the Gingerbread Kisses stamp set, so I'm going to add that to the top of the Gingy in the center. I just think that looks so cute. And then for some final details, again, I'm going to bring in my gel pen and just added those 3, well, the clusters of 3 little dots there, and it just adds some fun to the gingerbread. And then I'll add some highlights to both of the hats, and then the little bow and the lollipop. I really love how this card turned out, so following that Mojo Monday sketch pretty much exactly. So for the next card, we're already on to card number 4. I'm using sketch number 272 from MFT. And here you can see another example of the gingerbread pattern paper that comes in the Gingerbread Kisses 6x6 paper pad, which again is available for purchase. So I will have the links to the paper pads down below, as well as I mentioned the link to the subscription kit for the November kit, which I've heard is really great. So I can't wait to see what November brings. So for the horizontal stripes there, I'm using that red pattern paper again, and then the green diagonal stripe. I think it just ties in nicely because that pattern paper has a lot of the blue in it, and then my cup for one of the ephemera pieces has the blue. I just liked bringing in that green and that rosy red color just to tie everything together. So I decided to stamp the sentiment Merry Christmas onto my coffee mug or hot chocolate or whatever you want it to be. It does overhang, but it doesn't bother me, so I thought that turned out really cute. I just needed to use my Memento marker here just to add in a little bit of that sentiment where it came off the ephemera piece, but you wouldn't know. It looks super cute. So here's a look at the card with the sketch. I did have my circle a little bit more to the left. The sketch had it more in the center, but I liked having it a little bit offset. So card number 5, I loved these ornaments that came in one of the stamp sets, and this plaid pattern paper was my favorite paper out of both of the paper pads. I just loved it. There was this pattern paper that almost looks like glitter, and I thought that that would be great to use for the ornaments. So I did stamp those onto my paper and then cut those out on the black line, and then used my marker just to go around the outside. It just cleans up all the edges and just makes everything nice and cohesive. And I did color the blue with my Copic marker. So here's a look at that Snowflake set from Honeybee Stamps, and then I'm just showing you the glitter paper. So it's fun because there's 3 different colors on it, so you could have your ornaments red, kind of this silver color, or the blue, so you could have a lot of fun playing with that piece of pattern paper. So for this card, I'm going to have 2 of the ornaments. I just cut out the snowflakes using some white cardstock. There are stamps in the stamp set where you could stamp sentiments or little scenes. I just thought the white of the snowflakes would pick up on the little bit of the white border that I left on my card here. So I have my first one in place, and then I'm just going to offset the second one. I did stamp out the sentiment "'Tis the Season" on some white cardstock and just kind of fussy cut around all of the words. I'm going to tuck that in to the left-hand side there where there's kind of that V shape of the ornaments. Now you could definitely add these onto your ornaments if you want the sentiments on the ornaments, but I just thought this balanced out the card. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of white detail here to the ribbons on the ornaments. Going to add a little bit of glue to that one piece that wasn't quite sticking. And there is my 5th card complete. So I'm going to slow this down and show you all 5 cards again. Let me know if you're a subscriber to the Not2Shabby Shop kits. I did focus on the pattern paper because I thought you could use these designs if you had the 6x6 paper pad and just use your own stamps and sentiment stamps as well to kind of recreate a similar type card if you were interested. So do let me know if you had a favorite out of the 5. Those gingerbread are so cute, but I also love these ornaments and that plaid pattern paper. So I don't know, it's a hard one for me. I'm not quite sure if I have a favorite, but thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have the most fabulous day. Thank you for all your comments. They really mean a lot to me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss any upcoming content on my channel. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.